The empty space on my bookshelf stares back at me like a missing tooth, raw, noticeable, and unsettling. The pale rectangle on the wood reveals just how long my journal had rested there. Gone, my private thoughts, my hidden truths stolen by someone I trusted most. Ava. The name feels colder than it ever has, tightening the pit of my stomach. I breathe deeply, steadying my pulse, refusing to let panic overwhelm my clarity. I don't flinch as my phone lights up. Ava. Brunch tomorrow. Usual spot. My fingers hover briefly before responding. Me. Sure, sounds perfect. The quiet rhythm of betrayal begins. Sunlight spills over the cafe patio, illuminating Ava's sleek, dark hair as she leans back, effortlessly poised, smiling warmly. Emma, you look distracted, Ava says, stirring sugar into her latte. Her eyes flicker briefly downward, hiding something behind the softness of her smile. Everything all right? Yes, fine. I offer a controlled, neutral smile. Just thinking about, you know me, always lost in my thoughts. She laughs lightly, the sound charming and familiar. Ava has always been magnetic, effortlessly drawing others close. Until now, I never questioned it. So, Ava leans forward conspiratorially. Did you finally talk to that editor? The editor. I pause carefully. Which one? She shrugs, casually confident. The intimidating one you mentioned, the one at Harper's. The one you said makes you question your writing. I feel the ground shift beneath me. Harper's the editor. Those were private thoughts, only written in ink. My ink. I don't recall mentioning that to you, I say gently, sipping tea to mask the sharpness in my voice. Oh, you must have. You know how you get after a glass or two of wine. You talk more freely. Ava waves dismissively. My voice remains calm, quiet, though inside my chest a chill sets in. Perhaps I did. I think your writing is wonderful, Emma. Ava offers sweetly, as if her approval could erase what she'd taken. Your insecurities are unnecessary. I appreciate that, I say quietly. Coming from you, that means a lot. She smiles again, satisfied with my reaction. Of course. Ava leans back, relaxed now, assured of my ignorance. Her eyes glitter with satisfaction as she moves on. Anyway, Lauren and Elena invited us to drinks on Friday. We should go. Sounds lovely. I agree, voice steady. Inside, I measure her carefully, collecting my evidence, testing the edge of my suspicion. Are you sure everything's okay? Ava asks, her voice concerned but her gaze sharper now, probing for cracks. I'm perfectly fine, I reassure her, keeping my voice neutral and measured. Just thinking through some new ideas. You always have such intriguing thoughts, Ava muses, tilting her head slightly. I envy how naturally you put everything onto paper. Paper again. A small tell, a subtle admission. Sometimes, thoughts are better left unwritten. I respond quietly. Oh, Ava raises an eyebrow, intrigued. Why's that? Words can be misinterpreted, I reply steadily, twisted by those who don't understand their context. Ava pauses, briefly unsettled. Then she quickly regains composure, laughing lightly. Emma, you always worry too much. Who would twist your thoughts? I glance down into my tea, composing myself, not letting her see the careful precision behind my gaze. You'd be surprised. Perhaps, she shrugs, dismissive, but her gaze falters briefly. Uncertain now, I let the silence stretch, watching her quietly. I didn't mean to unsettle you, I say finally, keeping my tone gentle. It was just a passing thought. You didn't unsettle me, she lies, easily, casually smoothing her skirt. I smile again, softly, precisely measured. Good. Ava finishes her latte quickly, clearly eager to retreat. I need to run some errands, she announces, standing swiftly. We'll talk later? Of course. I nod, remaining seated, composed, my expression carefully neutral. Always good to see you. Likewise, she echoes, turning swiftly away. I watch her carefully. She pauses slightly at the cafe exit, glancing back toward me, her eyes briefly meeting mine, suspicious, calculating, uncertain, and then she is gone. Alone again, I sip my tea slowly, savoring its warmth, centering myself. I consider Ava's careful slips, her subtle admissions, pieces of my journal casually scattered into conversation. Her betrayal isn't impulsive, it's strategic. But then, so am I, my pulse steadies. Calm certainty settles inside me. Betrayal hurts, but weakness would hurt more. I glance down at my phone, messaging Lauren briefly. Me. Ava mentioned drinks Friday. Are you going? Lauren responds quickly. Lauren. Yes, Elena too. Hope you're coming. Me. Wouldn't miss it. I breathe deeply, allowing myself a brief pause. Ava has already begun reshaping perceptions, quietly positioning herself closer, more intimately to our shared friends. She's careful, subtle, using my vulnerability as currency. My journal, my thoughts transformed into Ava's tool for influence. She believes she's winning, that I'm blind to her manipulation. But I'm not. A subtle smile forms, cold but clear. Ava took what mattered most to me, my private reflections. She believes she can wield my words freely, without consequence. But Ava miscalculated. My silence isn't submission, it's clarity. I understand now the precise measure of her betrayal, the hidden cost of my trust. She stole my thoughts, believing them vulnerable. But words, in the end, are powerful tools, sharp, precise, capable of cutting both ways. I breathe again, steadying my heart, preparing for the careful, quiet battle ahead. Ava thinks she has power, that my journal is leverage, enough to control our circle. But her betrayal exposed something crucial, something Ava has forgotten or perhaps never fully understood. Trust, once lost, becomes clarity. I stand slowly, gathering my things, calmly composed. Ava may have taken my journal, but she gave me something more valuable in return. Purpose. I know now precisely how to move forward. Quietly, strategically. Ava's theft may have begun this, but my resolve will finish it. This betrayal will not define me, I will define it. I slip my phone back into my bag, step into the sunlight, and walk away, quiet and strong, ready. Sunday brunch, again. Our usual table in the corner feels more distant, somehow colder. But Ava sits across from me, acting oblivious, swirling a mimosa between her fingers. Her polished smile doesn't reach her eyes today, and I wonder if she senses my silent scrutiny. So, have you heard from that editor yet? Ava asks casually, sipping her drink. The one at Harper's. I reply, voice calm, testing her gently. She nods smoothly. Exactly. Any feedback? Nothing concrete yet. I respond evenly. But the process takes time, of course. Ava agrees, eyes flicking briefly toward the entrance. Distracted, she taps her glass lightly. I'm sure it'll be fine. I always thought your work was impressive. Her flattery feels hollow, detached, an attempt at comfort without sincerity. Did you? I ask softly, She hesitates slightly, glancing back at me, puzzled. Did I what? Always think that. Of course, she insists, eyes narrowing slightly. Why wouldn't I? I lean forward slowly, voice deliberately light. Because not everyone can separate the writer from their insecurities. Sometimes vulnerability colors perception. Her gaze shifts, briefly uncertain before she masks it with a polite smile. You sound philosophical today, Emma. Just honest. I counter softly, meeting her eyes without wavering. She clears her throat gently, discomfort briefly surfacing before she covers it again. Anyway, how's your family? I know you've been worried about your mom lately. I freeze internally. My mother's recent diagnosis was written only in that journal. Pages filled late at night, meant only for my eyes. How did you know? I was worried. My voice stays quiet, controlled. Ava shrugs, to casually. You mentioned it. I'm certain I didn't. She blinks, clearly caught, but attempts recovery. Then maybe Lauren mentioned it. You know how news travels. I pause, carefully considering her words. Ava's deflection is weak, transparent. Lauren doesn't know. I reply quietly. She swallows visibly, her fingers gripping her glass tightly. Then I must have misunderstood. But you seem stressed. Emma, maybe you forgot mentioning it. Maybe, I offer calmly, knowing she senses the trap tightening around her. Anyway, she continues swiftly. What about Friday night? Lauren's excited. Elena too. I let the conversation shift, briefly allowing her a reprieve. They seem eager. They're fun, Ava adds brightly, overly enthusiastic. Elena especially, she adores your humor. Does she? My tone is gently skeptical, prompting her subtly. Yes, definitely. Though she said you're often too reserved lately. She misses your old spark. I consider her words carefully, recognizing Ava's tactic. Subtle criticism cloaked in concern. My old spark. You know, the carefree side. Ava elaborates, easily, regaining confidence. Lately you seem more withdrawn. Is it about your writing? Again, an intimate inside another's stolen thought. Maybe, I reply cautiously, testing her once more. Writing is solitary. It makes me introspective. I understand, she smiles sweetly, satisfied with her manipulation. But remember, people love when you open up. It's your strength. I meet her eyes directly. Or my weakness, she blinks, momentarily unsure, quickly recovering. Never weakness. Vulnerability can be powerful. Emma, when it's genuine, I add softly, deliberately pointed. She frowns slightly. Of course. Authenticity matters. Indeed. I echo, my gaze unwavering. We sit in silence briefly. Ava uncomfortable, clearly trying to recalibrate. I need another mimosa, she finally decides, gesturing quickly for our waitress. As she orders, I discreetly glance toward her purse. The corner of a familiar blue notebook peeks out, confirming my worst suspicions. The quiet sting hits deeply, but I maintain composure, refusing Ava the satisfaction of seeing my pain. Another tea? Ava asks abruptly, interrupting my thoughts. Yes, I answer simply, voice steady. You're quiet, she observes, suspiciously. Did something happen? No, I reassure gently. I was just thinking about authenticity. She stiffens subtly. Why that, again? Because lately, I reply slowly, deliberately. I feel surrounded by illusion. Her eyes widen slightly, pulse visibly quickening. Emma, are you accusing me of something? No. I reply calmly. Should I be? Absolutely not. She insists sharply, her forehead briefly cracking. I just think you're tired. Maybe overthinking things. Perhaps. I concede. Softly, watching her closely. Our waitress returns, placing my tea gently between us. Breaking the tense silence, Ava immediately reaches for her drink, nervously sipping, clearly shaken. We're fine, right? She asks carefully. Of course. I reassure warmly, a composed lie. Why wouldn't we be? No reason, she deflects quickly, glancing away again. I allow a long, deliberate pause, watching her closely, savoring the quiet tension. Ava's fingers tremble slightly as she grips her glass, her confidence visibly slipping. You're right about one thing, Ava, I finally say, gentle and deliberate. She hesitates, wary. What's that? Vulnerability is powerful, I reply quietly, but only when shared willingly. She nods slowly, eyes cautious, her smile forced. I agree. Good. I finish softly, my voice clear, unshaken. Then we understand each other. Her gaze holds mine, uneasy, uncertain, before swiftly dropping away. Perfectly. The rest of brunch passes quietly, Ava visibly tense, choosing safe topics, carefully avoiding further slips. I let her steer, content now to merely observe, gathering details, patiently measuring every subtle reaction, every minor slip, each calculated evasion. My suspicions are confirmed fully, irrevocably. Ava took my journal. She stole my truths. But clarity brings strength, not panic. Ava's single quotes game has rules, but now I understand them, and I'm ready to play. The evening quiet of my apartment offers no solace, only a stark echo of loneliness. Outside my window, the city pulses with life, indifferent to the quiet dismantling happening inside me. Sitting cross-legged on my sofa, I cradle a mug of tea, staring at nothing, memories flooding gently in. Ava, my trusted confidant, the friend I leaned on for years. Our friendship had seemed effortless once, built on shared experiences, mutual support, and endless laughter. But now each memory feels tainted, shadowed by her betrayal. My mother's voice comes to mind, warm and strong, an anchor in chaos. I close my eyes, remembering clearly the last time we spoke about Ava. Double quotes, trust your instincts, Emma. My mother had said, her voice calm, confident. Friendships evolve, but always protect your heart. My reply had been casual, dismissive. Ava would never hurt me, Mom. She's practically family. She'd smiled knowingly, gently placing her hand over mine. I hope you're right, sweetheart. But trust is precious. Don't overlook how easily it's broken. I open my eyes. Now, her words hauntingly accurate. My instincts had whispered warnings, small uncertainties I'd pushed aside, unwilling to doubt Ava's intentions. But sitting here, clarity sharpens. Ava's betrayal wasn't sudden, it had been gradual, carefully woven beneath laughter, hidden within casual conversations and unspoken doubts. The truth presses into me, relentless. Ava had taken my journal knowing exactly what it meant. Each stolen page represented a calculated choice, each betrayal deliberate. A coldness settles inside me, sharp but necessary. My mother's advice echoes again, clearer now. Protect your heart. I set the tea aside, standing slowly, walking quietly to the window. Street lights flicker softly below, illuminating paths crowded with strangers, each with hidden struggles, silent pains, secrets known only to themselves. My reflection stares back from the glass, calm and composed. Pain lurks behind my eyes, but clarity shines brighter. My phone buzzes gently from the coffee table. Ava's name lights the screen, a text waiting, innocently masked as concerned. Ava, are we okay? You seemed off today. My fingers hover briefly, considering my response carefully. Every interaction from now must be deliberate, precise. Calm me. Everything's fine. Just a bit tired. Don't worry about it. She replies quickly, relief palpable. Ava, good. Sleep well. See you Friday. I place the phone aside again, unsettled by her easy lies, her smooth deception. Ava thinks she still controls this narrative, certain of my ignorance, confident that her betrayal remains hidden. Her arrogance will be her downfall. I move slowly to my desk, pulling out blank paper, fingertips brushing gently over its smooth surface. The impulse to write my feelings down comes naturally, an old habit, now laced with hesitance. Ava took my most private words, weaponizing them against me. Yet here I am again, compelled to clarify, needing desperately to reclaim my voice. My pen moves slowly, words flowing quietly across the page, hesitant but honest. Ava betrayed me. Her friendship was illusion. But clarity brings purpose, not bitterness. I pause briefly, the stark truth staring up at me. Writing it down feels both painful and cathartic. I keep going, words precise, stripped of pretense. I ignored instincts. I believed her sincerity. I allowed trust to blind me. Each sentence brings deeper clarity, gently but firmly confronting my naivete. But betrayal reveals strength. Ava stole my secrets, but I define their power. My hand pauses again, the pen hovering softly, considering carefully my next words. A quiet knock echoes softly from my apartment door, breaking my contemplation. I freeze briefly, pulse quickening, and another gentle knock. Insistent. Slowly, cautiously, I approach, peering quietly through the peephole. Relief washes over me, tinged with surprise. It's Lauren, shifting nervously in the hallway, glancing briefly at her phone. I open the door slowly, offering a gentle smile. Lauren, everything okay? She exhales softly, eyes relieved but troubled. Can we talk? Of course. I reply warmly, stepping aside. Come in. Lauren moves hesitantly into the apartment, glancing around quietly, clearly anxious. Sorry, it's late. I just needed to ask you something. Anything. I reassure her softly. Closing the door, she hesitates briefly, voice careful. Did something happen between you and Ava? My chest tightens slightly, the question quietly confirming my fears. Ava has already begun spreading subtle whispers, twisting my insecurities into casual gossip. Why do you ask? My tone stays neutral, gentle but wary. Lauren shifts uneasily. She's been talking about you differently. I can't explain it exactly, but it feels off. How off? She's acting concerned. But Lauren pauses, uncomfortable. It feels manipulative, like she's trying to shape how we see you. I stay calm, breathing gently. Did she mention anything specific? Lauren hesitates again, clearly reluctant. She said you've seemed paranoid lately, that you think people are betraying you. I nod slowly, voice gentle. And do you believe her? Lauren meets my eyes steadily, shaking her head firmly. No. That's why I'm here. Relief softens the tension in my shoulders. Thank you, Lauren. She smiles slightly, earnest. You'd tell me if something was wrong, right? Yes, I reply quietly, sincerity clear in my voice. But I need your discretion. She nods quickly. Of course. I pause briefly, considering carefully. Then gently reveal. Ava took something private from me, something deeply personal. She's using it. Lauren's eyes widen slightly, then narrow with quiet anger. Your journal? Yes, I admit softly. Lauren sighs, shaking her head gently. I hoped I was wrong. So did I. I reply quietly, meeting her gaze directly. But I need your trust. You have it. Lauren reassures immediately, voice firm. Tell me what you need. For now, I answer gently, just quiet observation. Watch Ava carefully. Discreetly, she nods again, understanding the stakes clearly. You're not alone, Emma. Gratitude warms my chest gently. Thank you, Lauren. She smiles softly, determination clear in her eyes. We'll fix this. As Lauren leaves, closing the door quietly behind her, I stand in silence, heart steadier now, comforted by the unexpected ally. Ava's betrayal had cut deeply, but clarity sharpens focus. I have friends who still value trust and honesty. I glance again at my writing, reaffirming the words. Ava stole my trust but not my strength. My path forward is clearer. Now, lined with resolve, my mother's advice echoes gently once more. Protect your heart. This time, I will. The subtle shifts start immediately. They're quiet, almost imperceptible at first, but soon they become impossible to ignore. Friends linger just a bit too long after asking me how I am, their eyes filled with sympathy instead of warmth. Small hesitations punctuate their conversations, casual interactions suddenly tinged with caution. At Elena's apartment, gathered for our regular Friday evening drinks, I sit on the edge of the plush leather sofa, sipping wine, quietly observing. Elena's eyes flicker toward me, then away, uncertain. Lauren meets my gaze, silently communicating her support, grounding me in reassurance. Ava stands by the bar, effortlessly captivating attention, her voice smooth, laughter calculatedly infectious. You know Emma's always been sensitive about her writing, she says lightly, seamlessly slipping it into casual conversation. She takes rejection hard. Elena nods sympathetically, her eyes briefly meeting mine. We all do. It's brave just to put yourself out there. Ava leans closer, voice dropping conspiratorially. True. But Emma, you know, sometimes she sees threats where there aren't any. It worries me. Lauren tenses beside me, discreetly pressing a gentle hand on my arm, a quiet gesture urging patience. Emma, Elena's voice is gentle, careful. Everything okay? I smile softly, deliberately calm. Of course. Rejection's part of the process. Ava just cares a lot. Ava's gaze sharpens, momentarily faltering. Exactly. She recovers quickly. Just looking out for you. Lauren speaks calmly, redirecting subtly. Emma's writing is excellent. She handles criticism gracefully. Ava stiffens slightly, irritation flickering briefly behind her. Practiced composure. Absolutely, she agrees smoothly. Emma always tries her best. Her subtle insult lands softly, disguised as kindness. Elena smiles gently, unaware of the subtle tension. Well, we all believe in you, Emma. You know that, right? I nod gratefully. I do. Elena steps away briefly, joining other conversations, leaving Lauren, Ava, and me quietly together. Ava's eyes narrow slightly, clearly frustrated by Lauren's quiet defense. You seem protective tonight, Lauren. Ava observes coolly, voice carefully neutral. Everything okay? Lauren replies calmly, eyes steady. Just clarifying. You made Emma sound fragile. She's not. Ava laughs gently, dismissive. Of course she's strong. That's obvious. I didn't mean anything negative. Lauren stays quietly firm. Good. Ava's smile tightens slightly, visibly irritated by Lauren's subtle challenge. Anyway, drinks anyone? Sure, Lauren agrees casually, stepping away, glancing back reassuringly at me. Ava turns quietly to me, her voice softer now, quietly probing. You seem tense tonight, Emma. Did Lauren upset you? Not at all, I reply gently, voice controlled. Why would she? Just checking, Ava replies innocently, eyes cautious. Sometimes she jumps in unnecessarily. I worry she misinterprets things. Maybe she just sees clearly, I reply softly. Ava stiffens subtly, suspicion briefly flickering through her eyes. Meaning, nothing, I reply calmly, smiling. Gently. Just an observation. She pauses quietly, clearly uncertain. Are we still good, Emma? You seem distant. Perfectly fine, I reassure quietly, watching her carefully. Voice gently steady. Good, Ava replies slowly, clearly. Skeptical. I hope you know I'm here if something's bothering you. Thanks, Ava, I respond gently, meeting her eyes deliberately. I appreciate that. She steps away quietly, subtly irritated, moving swiftly toward Elena again, seamlessly engaging in effortless conversation. Lauren returns quietly, settling beside me, eyes cautious. You okay? She asks softly, discreetly. Yes, I reassure gently, grateful for her quiet loyalty. Thank you for earlier. Lauren smiles warmly, voice gently supportive. I meant it. You're not alone. I breathe quietly, steadying my resolve, observing carefully the shifting interactions around me, silently assessing Ava's growing influence. Elena and the others laugh lightly, clearly charmed by Ava's easy charisma. Their glances toward me are tinged with subtle sympathy, evidence of Ava's careful manipulations. Emma, Elena gently calls again, breaking my thoughts. You've been quiet. Join us. I stand quietly, moving toward the group, subtly assessing their reactions, carefully measuring the damage. Sorry, lost in thought. I apologize lightly, smiling softly. Thinking about your next piece. Elena gently prompts, genuinely interested. Always. I respond warmly, voice deliberately light. Inviting trust. Ava swiftly interjects smoothly, voice carefully neutral. She's very dedicated. It consumes her sometimes. Lauren swiftly counters, calmly firm. Passion often does. Elena smiles gently, clearly sensing subtle tension. It's admirable. Ava nods slowly, voice coolly detached. Of course. It is. No one doubts that. I deliberately speak now, calm, composed. Thank you. It helps knowing friends believe in me. Elena warmly replies, gently supportive. We absolutely do. Ava's smile tightens slightly, discomfort briefly surfacing. Definitely. I meet Ava's eyes deliberately, voice softly direct. That's comforting. Ava hesitates subtly, clearly unnerved by my calm, deliberate presence. Well, it's true. I'm glad. I respond quietly, composed, gently reaffirming control. Ava shifts uneasily, clearly frustrated by my subtle pushback. Anyway, who needs another drink? The group quickly responds, eager to move past the subtle tension. Ava smoothly retreats, visibly irritated but composed. Elena briefly squeezes my shoulder, gentle support clear in her eyes. Don't let her get under your skin, she whispers discreetly. I won't, I reassure softly. Grateful for the quiet solidarity, the evening gradually settles. Ava's presence subtly overshadowed by quieter conversations, my calm reassurance gently, restoring confidence among friends. Elena and Lauren stay close, subtly reinforcing trust, quietly counteracting Ava's subtle attempts at division. Later, as I quietly slip away, Lauren discreetly catches my arm, voice gently urgent. Emma, Ava's pushing harder now. She knows. Something's off. I noticed. I reassure quietly, calm and certain. But I have it handled. Lauren nods gently, eyes cautious. Be careful. Ava's influence runs deep. Elena's uncertain now. I see it. I reply calmly, composed. I'll handle Elena discreetly. Good. Lauren replies softly. She trusts you. Keep it that way. I will. I reassure gently, grateful for Lauren's quiet strength. As I step outside, the cool night air settles around me, sharp and refreshing, clarity gently reaffirmed. Ava's subtle manipulations had briefly shifted perceptions, twisting my vulnerabilities quietly into gossip, carefully dividing loyalties. But tonight's careful, subtle counteractions began quietly reclaiming my influence, gently but deliberately eroding Ava's carefully constructed facade. Her betrayal's damage is evident now, measured, but repairable. I breathe gently, calm, and steady, prepared to quietly dismantle Ava's manipulations. She miscalculated, believing my quiet nature meant vulnerability. But silence can be strength, subtlety powerful, and authenticity quietly persuasive. She stole my journal, quietly weaponizing its truths. But Ava's arrogance blinded her to one critical detail. Trust, once broken, quietly reveals character, and tonight, Ava quietly revealed herself. I choose my usual table at Café Luna, near the corner window, sunlight filtering gently through leaves, dappling patterns across my notebook. Here, alone in this gentle solitude, I map my thoughts carefully. My pen moves deliberately, words clear, calm, precise. Ava has meticulously built her image, effortlessly charming, flawlessly confident. She commands attention, thrives on admiration, uses influence as oxygen. To truly reach her, to reclaim what she's stolen, I must carefully dismantle her power at its core. Quietly and deliberately, my phone buzzes gently. Marcus Lane's name softly illuminating the screen. Warmth fills my chest. Marcus has always been discreet, trustworthy, insightful. Marcus, everything okay? Lauren sounded worried. I reply calmly, reassured by his quiet presence. Me. Ava's complicated things. I'm handling it. Marcus, need anything? I hesitate briefly, carefully considering me. Not yet. Just your trust. Marcus, always. Relief quietly steadies me, grounding my thoughts again. Marcus's quiet loyalty reminds me that Ava's reach isn't absolute. She manipulates perception, not truth itself. I return to my notebook, pen steady again. Ava values power above loyalty. Her influence depends on others seeing only what she allows. Quietly, clearly, I note her vulnerabilities: pride, arrogance, and an unacknowledged dependence on validation. Elena's recent uncertainty demonstrates Ava's power to subtly shape perception. Yet Elena's innate empathy remains untouched, a quiet path to her trust still open. Lauren stands firmly by my side, unwaveringly loyal, quietly protective. Marcus's support reinforces the quiet strength forming beneath Ava's carefully constructed facade. My phone vibrates again softly. Ava's message innocently rhyming. Ava, missed you yesterday. Coffee soon. I reply carefully, gently controlling my tone. Me. Sure. Soon. Her response is swift, self-assured. Ava. Perfect. I breathe. Gently, calmly considering her arrogance, her subtle presumption of control. Her blind confidence offers precisely the quiet openings I need. A soft shadow gently interrupts my thoughts. Elena stands quietly beside my table, hesitant but warm. Mind if I join? Of course, I reply gently, motioning to the seat. Across from me, Elena sits quietly, eyes thoughtful, cautious. Emma, about last night I wanted to apologize. No apology needed. I reassure softly, genuinely. I understand. She shakes her head gently, regret clear. Ava said things subtly enough that I didn't notice at first. But Lauren opened my eyes. I pause carefully, voice gentle but direct. Ava's very good at subtle manipulation. Elena sighs softly, eyes reflecting quiet discomfort. I see that now. She painted you as fragile, insecure. It was believable, but it's not true. I meet Elena's eyes steadily, voice calm and composed. Thank you for recognizing that. She hesitates briefly, cautiously continuing. I just don't understand why she's doing this. I breathe slowly, carefully choosing my words. Because Ava values influence over friendship. My vulnerability became her leverage. Elena nods softly, quiet understanding forming. What can I do to help? Just remain observant. I reply gently, precisely. Keep your trust cautious. She smiles gently, relief softening her features. You have my full support. Emma. Gratitude warms my voice, quietly sincere. I appreciate that deeply. Elena rises gently, eyes reassuring. We'll fix this. We will. I affirm softly as Elena quietly leaves. My phone buzzes again. Marcus messaging gently. Marcus. Elena seems clearer now. Good move. I glance around discreetly, catching his subtle smile from across the cafe. Marcus. Quiet observer. Always vigilant. I smile softly back, reassured by his unwavering trust. Returning to my notebook. Thoughts now clearer. I continue carefully crafting my plan. Ava's confidence blinds her, creating quiet vulnerabilities. Each subtle correction, each gentle clarification, quietly shifts perspectives, weakening Ava's carefully built foundation. I quietly summarize clearly, precisely. Reassure Elena. Protect her trust carefully. Reinforce Lauren's quiet loyalty consistently. Maintain Marcus's discreet support steadily. Quietly observe Ava's subtle reactions. Exploit Ava's blind spots methodically. My clarity solidifies gently, the simplicity calming yet powerful. Ava's influence depends entirely on perception. Quiet. Consistent truths erode illusions effortlessly, subtly realigning loyalties. My quiet resolve becomes steadier, grounded in patience and emotional control. I close my notebook gently, sipping my coffee quietly, reflecting clearly on my emotional shift. Ava's betrayal initially sparked pain, confusion, uncertainty, but now clarity reigns. Calm calculation gently replaces hurt. Betrayal, quietly acknowledged, strengthens resolve. Rather than breaking it, Marcus approaches quietly, eyes reassuring. He slides gently into Elena's recently vacated seat, voice discreetly curious. Everything clearer now? Yes. I respond softly, voice gentle yet firm. Thank you. Lauren's quietly worried. He observes calmly. She thinks. Ava's growing cautious. Ava's sensing subtle shifts. I agree quietly, composed. But her arrogance blinds her still. Marcus nods softly, voice gently supportive. True. but she won't stay oblivious forever. I smile softly, confidently. She won't have to. By then, it won't matter. His eyes quietly sharpen, intrigued. You sound certain. Because Ava underestimates subtlety, I explain. Quietly, precisely. She expects confrontation, emotional reactions. She won't anticipate quiet, consistent clarity. Marcus smiles gently, voice quietly admiring. Strategic. I like it. I meet his gaze gently, sincerity quiet but firm. I'm grateful you're here, Marcus. Truly. He nods softly, voice gently supportive. Always, Emma. I've got your back. His quiet reassurance gently steadies me, grounding my resolve firmly. Ava's betrayal quietly transformed into purpose. Her manipulations subtly redirected into opportunities. I glance outside softly. Afternoon sunlight gently waning, casting quiet shadows across the cafe. My path forward quietly emerges, clarity powerful yet calming. Ava took something precious, my intimate trust, but inadvertently gave me greater insight, deeper emotional clarity, stronger personal resilience. Quietly, calmly, methodically, I prepare to reclaim my dignity. Ava began this quietly calculated betrayal, but I will gently, surely end it. The subtlety is essential. Each conversation, each interaction, every quiet moment matters now. Ava's manipulations thrive in noise and confusion. My strength lies in gentle clarity. I choose carefully, moving cautiously, never hurried, never desperate. Marcus agrees to meet me for dinner at our favorite bistro, an intimate, softly lit spot tucked away from the chaos of the city. He sits across from me, calm and steady, eyes warm with quiet trust. How are you holding up? Marcus asks gently, sipping water, watching me carefully. Better, I respond softly, letting sincerity carry my words. Now that I understand Ava clearly, his voice drops to a thoughtful murmur. She's smart, Emma. She'll catch on eventually. I'm counting on that. I reply softly, evenly. Marcus raises an eyebrow gently, intrigued. Explain. Once Ava realizes I'm quietly shifting the narrative, she'll react impulsively. Her confidence is fragile, dependent on control. He nods slowly, absorbing carefully. You're right, her arrogance blinds her. Exactly. I confirm gently. Every subtle shift I create now, she'll misread as accidental, harmless. Marcus leans closer slightly, eyes cautiously curious. How can I help? You already have. I reassure quietly. Just continue observing, quietly reassuring the others when Ava tries twisting things. He smiles softly, reassuringly. I'm good at subtlety. I smile back warmly. That's why I trust you. The waitress arrives, discreetly placing dishes between us. We pause briefly, conversation gently shifting to casual, mundane topics, quietly masking our deeper strategy beneath calm, easy normality. As dinner continues, Marcus glances briefly toward his phone, quietly thoughtful. Lauren messaged earlier. Elena asked if we were here together. I consider this carefully. Voice deliberately calm. Tell Lauren yes. Elena's testing trust, subtly assessing allegiances. Marcus nods quietly. You're sure? Yes. I affirm softly. It reinforces sincerity. Ava will struggle to twist simple truth. He sends the message quickly, discreetly, eyes reflecting calm trust. Done. Good. I reply softly, confident steady. As dinner ends, we step quietly into the cool evening air. Walking slowly through the quiet streets, the city gently winding down around us. Marcus remains close, a reassuring presence. You're handling this well, he says finally, voice carefully admiring. Most people couldn't. I breathe softly, responding honestly. Betrayal clarified things, showed me strength I didn't know I had. Marcus nods gently, sincerity clear. You deserve better. I know. I reply softly, voice firm but calm. I intend to reclaim it. A soft vibration interrupts quietly. Lauren's name glows warmly on Marcus's phone again. He reads carefully, voice discreetly neutral. Elena mentioned. Ava seemed unsettled after she found out we were here. Perfect. I respond calmly. Ava dislikes unpredictability. Marcus smiles softly. It's working. I nod gently, voice composed. Small shifts matter. Clearly. He agrees quietly as we continue walking. I spot Elena approaching softly, expression hesitant. Eyes cautious but warm. Marcus glances briefly toward me, silently understanding, stepping gently aside, discreetly providing space. Emma. Marcus. Elena greets softly, smiling tentatively. Evening. Elena. I respond gently, welcomingly. Good to see you. She hesitates briefly, voice softly cautious. You two had dinner. Just catching up. Marcus offers casually, voice calmly reassuring. Quiet night. Elena nods gently, visibly comforted. I heard Ava seemed concerned. I maintain composure, carefully gentle. Why? She shifts uneasily, voice quiet. She implied you're planning something. Planning? I softly question. Expression gently puzzled, deliberate. Innocence. Elena sighs softly, conflicted. She suggested you might try turning people against her. Marcus gently interjects, voice calm, reassuring. Emma wouldn't do that. You know her. Elena nods slowly, voice gently sincere. I do. But Ava seems convinced. She's subtly warning everyone. I pause briefly, deliberately cautious. Elena, consider why Ava feels threatened by simple honesty. She hesitates, voice softly thoughtful. You think Ava's worried about her own reputation? Exactly. Marcus calmly interjects again, voice reassuring. Emma's integrity challenges Ava's carefully constructed image. Elena quietly absorbs, gently considering. It makes sense. I speak gently, carefully sincere. Elena, trust your instincts. Ava's manipulation relies on confusion. She nods softly, quietly resolved. I trust you. Emma. Ava's losing control, it's showing. Relief gently softens my voice. Thank you, Elena. She smiles softly, sincerely. Be careful, Emma. Ava's tactics aren't gentle. I know. I reassure quietly. But clarity is powerful. Elena departs softly, expression calmer, quietly confident. Marcus gently returns, voice carefully impressed. Handled perfectly. Thanks. I reply softly, genuinely. Your support helps. We continue walking quietly, evening air gently. Crisp, comforting silence settling between us. Marcus speaks again softly, voice gently contemplative. Elena trusts you completely now. Ava's circle shrinks quietly, gradually. Exactly. I respond calmly. Small shifts, subtle, but powerful. Quiet brilliance. Marcus replies softly, smiling warmly. Ava underestimated you completely. She assumed quiet meant weak. I reply softly, voice calm. But silence can be strength. He nods gently, voice sincere. You're redefining strength. We reach my apartment quietly. Marcus pausing briefly, voice gently reassuring. Remember, you're not alone. I know. I respond warmly, gratitude sincere. Your trust means everything. He smiles softly, reassuringly. Stay strong, Emma. I will. I affirm gently. Marcus quietly departs, leaving me standing. Softly in the quiet stillness of night, my phone gently vibrates. Lauren's message arriving discreetly, quietly supportive. Lauren, Elena seems clearer tonight. Ava's irritated. Small win. I reply softly, confidently. Me. Exactly. Subtle shifts add up. She responds gently, warmly affirming. Lauren, proud of you. Quietly stepping inside my apartment, I softly close the door behind me, exhaling gently, calm and centered. Tonight's subtle interactions quietly realign trust, gently shifting perceptions, carefully dismantling Ava's manipulative illusions. Small steps, carefully chosen, subtle yet deliberate, quietly powerful. Ava's blind spot her arrogance. Her belief in absolute control quietly revealed itself clearly tonight. She miscalculated. Ava believed my quiet nature meant vulnerability, my silence weakness. But silence, carefully wielded, quietly transforms into powerful strength. She underestimated subtlety. Ava thrives loudly, dramatically but small. Quiet shifts gently disrupt her carefully controlled narrative, steadily eroding her influence. I breathed gently, calm resolve firmly reaffirmed. Ava's betrayal quietly set events in motion, but now I calmly control their direction. Small shifts quietly matter. And tonight, clearly, gently, purposefully I reclaimed their power. I watch her closely now, not with open suspicion, but with the kind of practiced detachment one learns in the aftermath of betrayal. Ava moves through our circle as if she owns every space. Each interaction another opportunity for her to perform. Her laughter is louder these days, brighter, but with an edge. She is always first to offer opinions, steer conversations, and be seen. What she cannot see, or perhaps refuses to see, is the ground shifting quietly beneath her. The next gathering is at Elena's again, a cozy Friday night where everyone squeezes onto mismatched sofas with glasses of wine in hand. Ava dominates the conversation, launching into stories of her latest business pitch, layering every sentence with assurance. Lauren sits beside me, phone tucked into her lap, occasionally meeting my gaze with a subtle nod. Elena offers hors d'oeuvres, her eyes flicking from Ava to the rest of us, uncertainty shadowing her smile. Ava pauses, scanning the room. Has anyone actually tried that new sushi place downtown? She asks. Elena shakes her head. Not yet. I keep meaning to go. Ava grins, seizing the moment. I have an in with the owner. If you want a table, I can get us one VIP. Of course. Elena laughs, but it's slightly forced. That's generous. Ava basks in the attention. I always know someone. Her gaze lands on me, lingering for a beat. Emma, you love a good place to celebrate when Harper's finally calls. Lauren tenses beside me. Emma's writing doesn't need anyone's validation, she says, voice even. Ava's lips twitch. Of course not. I just think it deserves a big moment. That's all. I keep my voice gentle. I celebrate the quiet things these days. Ava studies me, something almost calculating in her eyes. You've changed. You used to be more open. People change, I say softly. Not always for the better, Ava counters. A smile fixed in place, Lauren jumps in quickly. Or, sometimes exactly for the better. I think Emma's stronger than ever. Elena looks from one of us to the other, picking up on the tension. Let's not get philosophical. Life's short. We should do something fun. How about trivia night? Next week? Ava's expression falters for half a second. Trivia night is the one thing she never wins. But she recovers smoothly. Why not? I'll start brushing up. Lauren leans closer, whispering in my ear as the others chatter. She doesn't realize everyone sees it now. I nod subtly, eyes never leaving Ava. Not yet, but she will. Ava circles the room, refilling drinks, complimenting Elena's art on the wall, offering unsolicited advice about everything from vacation plans to career choices. Where her charisma once inspired, now it grates. She laughs too loudly, insists on the last word, speaks over Lauren and David when they try to share their own stories. After Elena disappears into the kitchen, Lauren quietly moves to join David by the window. For a moment, it's just Ava and me, the noise around us fading. She leans in. I feel like you're holding back, Emma. Everything okay between us? I meet her gaze, holding it steadily. I think we both know things have changed. Ava's smile is brittle, her voice honeyed. I'm just making sure you're all right. You seem distant, and I worry. You know how much I care. You care about being in control. Ava, that's not the same as caring about someone. Her eyes narrow, but she recovers quickly, voice dropping to a whisper. Don't be paranoid. You know how people get when they're stressed. I don't respond. My silence unsettles her. She tries again, voice almost pleading. Emma, you know me. I'd never do anything to hurt you. If something's wrong, you can tell me. I shake my head, voice calm. I think we both know you already have. She freezes, just for a breath, before forcing a bright laugh. You're so dramatic. I miss when you used to trust me. Trust is earned, I say quietly, and easily lost. Elena returns, carrying a tray of desserts. Ava snaps back into performance mode, showering Elena with praise. But her eyes dart back to me, searching for a weakness, finding none. The evening drifts toward its end, but Ava lingers near the door as we put on coats and say our goodbyes. She pulls me aside, lowering her voice so only I can hear. Emma, don't push me away. People won't always be on your side. I study her for a moment, unblinking. That's all right. I only want the right ones. She looks startled, almost vulnerable, before she smooths her features and steps back into her practiced self. I leave with Lauren, the chill night air sharp and clean. We walk in silence for a moment, the street quiet around us. Lauren finally speaks. She's unraveling. You know. She doesn't see it. I answer. She will, Lauren says with certainty. I nod, feeling the truth in her words. Ava's arrogance has blinded her to the quiet shifting ground, to the silent resolve in the people she once controlled. She keeps performing, certain of her power, never realizing it's already gone. Tonight, I saw it clearly, her growing desperation, her need to be heard, her fear of being irrelevant. Her blind spot widens with every word she speaks, every move she makes. And I am done giving her the audience she craves. Sometimes the smallest gatherings reveal the deepest truths. Over the next week, I become deliberate about my invitations, keeping things intimate, never letting the group get so big that Ava can dominate the air. I text Lauren and Elena, invite Marcus for coffee, and reach out quietly to Natalie Brooks, a mutual acquaintance who wields her own influence, though with more grace than Ava ever managed. By Thursday, I'm sitting in a candlelit restaurant with Natalie, the soft clink of cutlery and low conversation providing privacy for what I need to say. Thanks for meeting me. I start, keeping my tone casual. Unhurried, Natalie flashes a warm, curious smile. Of course. I've wanted to get to know you better, Emma. You always seem thoughtful. I return her smile, studying her carefully. I try to be. I think it's important, especially these days. Natalie's eyes sharpen with genuine interest. Ava's mentioned you're going through something. She made it sound like you're overwhelmed. I let the word hang between us, then shake my head gently. Overwhelmed isn't quite right. Disappointed? Maybe. Betrayed? Definitely. She leans in, her expression open. Betrayed. By Ava. I take a careful sip of my tea. She took something of mine, something personal, and she's been using it against me, quietly. Behind the scenes, Natalie's face darkens, her tone clear. That's not just mean. It's dangerous. Are you all right? Getting there, I admit, letting the vulnerability show for a moment. But I can't fix this alone. Ava's influence is wide. She's turned some of our friends against me. Natalie sits back, thinking, then nods. She has a way of making herself the sun in everyone's sky. But people see more than she realizes. I feel hope flicker in my chest. I need allies. Natalie. Not people to fight for me, just people to see clearly. To keep the truth from getting drowned out. Natalie's response is swift. Count on me. I've watched her manipulate people before. I won't let her do it again. Relief makes my voice softer. Thank you. I can't tell you everything yet, but your support means more than you know. Natalie's hand covers mine for a moment. Emma, you're not alone. Let me know how I can help. We talk for another hour about art, mutual friends, and the many ways trust is built and broken. By the time we part ways outside, the evening is cool, and I feel the first true lift in my chest since this began. The next evening, Marcus hosts a small dinner at his apartment. I arrive to find Lauren already there, wine glass in hand, talking with David Chan, another friend who's been drifting from the group lately. Tired of drama, Marcus welcomes me in, pulling me into a quick, supportive hug. Good to see you, he murmurs. You look lighter tonight. I feel it, I reply, my gratitude quiet but unmistakably. As the evening unfolds, conversation turns naturally to work, to city gossip, to favorite movies. The mood is easy, genuine until David sets his glass down and looks at me directly. Can I ask something? He says. Of course, I reply. He glances at Lauren, then at Marcus. Is it true what Ava's saying? That Emma's unstable, paranoid, making up stories? Lauren's jaw tightens, but I hold up a hand. It's okay. David deserves the truth. I choose my words with precision. I'm not paranoid. Ava took my journal, a private one, and she's been using pieces of it in conversations, making my insecurities sound like warnings. She's made it look like I'm falling apart. But I'm not. I know what's happening. David nods slowly, processing. That actually explains a lot. Ava's been oddly interested in your private life lately. Lauren speaks, voice controlled but fierce. Emma's the most grounded person here. Ava's been stirring things up. 4 weeks. Marcus adds quietly. Emma's handled this with more dignity than most would. I look at David, meeting his eyes. I'm asking you to pay attention, not to take sides. Watch her. Listen for what's real. He nods again, this time with conviction. You have it. I'm sorry for doubting. The moment passes, but something shifts, an invisible weight easing. For the first time, I see the shape of my new coalition. Lauren's fierce loyalty, Marcus's unwavering support, David's honesty, Natalie's influence. The foundation is laid. Later, as we're clearing plates, Lauren moves beside me, her voice low. Natalie texted. She's in. She wants to help. I allow myself a brief smile. Good. The more people see Ava clearly, the better. Marcus hands me a mug of coffee. You think Ava suspects? She will, I say quietly, but not yet. She still thinks I'm isolated. Lauren's eyes glint. She's in for a surprise. We finish the evening with laughter and easy conversation. When I leave, the air feels less oppressive. It's not just about reclaiming my reputation now. It's about rebuilding something stronger, something that can't be broken so easily. A day later, I arranged to see Natalie again, this time at a gallery opening. Ava is there too, mingling at the center of a crowd, drawing people in with practiced ease. But I notice, for the first time, how a few faces drift away from her orbit, gravitating toward me instead. Natalie, Marcus, even David. Ava catches my eye across the room, her smile sharp, calculating. She glides over, champagne in hand. Emma, you're here, she says, voice bright. Didn't think this was your scene. I match her tone, unruffled. You know me, always curious. She leans in, voice dropping. People are talking. You wouldn't want the wrong impression spreading, would you? I meet her gaze. Let them talk. I trust the truth to stand. A flash of annoyance crosses her face before she smooths it away. You always were the idealist. Natalie appears at my elbow, smiling warmly. Emma, I want you to meet the curator. She's dying to hear about your latest piece. Ava is forced to step aside as Natalie guides me away. The current shifting. The conversation with the curator is easy. Genuine. Natalie's presence a subtle but unmistakable shield. Later, as the evening wanes, I notice Ava standing alone by the door, eyes searching the crowd. Where once she commanded the room, now she seems smaller, somehow less substantial. Natalie squeezes my shoulder. You're winning them back, Emma. Ava's losing her grip. I breathe out, slow and steady. Thank you for standing with me. She smiles, fierce and kind. We look out for each other. That's what Ava never understood. Outside, under the city's cold night, Marcus joins me at the curb, hands in his pockets. You did well tonight. I didn't do it alone, I reply. He grins. That's the point, isn't it? As I head home, the weight of isolation lifts completely. I am not alone anymore. I have allies, real ones, bound not by manipulation, but by quiet, shared trust. This is how Ava's influence ends. Not with confrontation, but with truth, patience, and the gentle strength of people who finally see what's been happening all along. And as the city hums around me, I know my work is just beginning. But for the first time, I welcome the fight. The invitation rives through Elena. Of course, her excitement barely contained in a string of texts. Ava's hosting a high-profile charity launch at the downtown gallery. And, as always, she's orchestrated every detail. Her name is at the top of the press release. Her photo in the email header, her fingerprints all over the guest list. It's the kind of event she lives for. Curated, glamorous, controlled. I arrive early, letting the hush of the gallery settle my nerves. Glass panels reflect the city's golden hour. Crisp white walls gleam with borrowed light. Guests gather in small clusters. Industry people, local influencers, friends of friends. I recognize Natalie in a pale blue dress near the bar, chatting easily with a curator. Marcus lingers by a sculpture, phone in hand, eyes scanning the room. With quiet attention, Elena waves me over, cheeks flushed with excitement. "You look incredible, Emma," she says, squeezing my hand. "Ava's outdoing herself tonight. Doesn't she always?" I say quietly. Elena laughs, but there's a hint of apology behind it. "I think she needs the spotlight lately. People are noticing." I nod. "She'll get what she needs." My tone is gentle, and Elena smiles, reassured. Ava appears, making her way through the crowd, greeting everyone by name. Her confidence is a carefully tailored mask tonight, every gesture smooth, every compliment polished. When she reaches us, she air kisses Elena and turns to me. "Emma, so glad you could make it." She purrs, "The world watching. Wouldn't miss it," I reply, voice warm but measured. She leans closer, lowering her voice just enough for only me to hear. "I hope you're feeling better. People were worried, you know." I meet her gaze evenly. I appreciate the concern. Ava holds my eyes a moment, searching for something, then brightens. Switching to the next guest with effortless ease, Natalie joins me, her presence grounding. Ava's in rare form tonight. She's pulling out all the stops. I smile. She always does when she's unsure. Natalie glances across the room, where Ava is surrounded by a knot of admirers. The old guard is loyal, but I see a few new faces gravitating your way. Let's give them something to notice, I say, surprising myself with the calm in my own voice. The evening unfolds in a blur of introductions and carefully layered conversations. When the small talk grows stale, I lean in, offering a quiet insight here, a gentle joke there, building on trust and warmth. Natalie draws people to us effortlessly. Marcus's quiet humor softens the edges. Elena, less certain now of her allegiances, hovers near both circles, testing the air. David, glass in hand, drifts over, lowering his voice. "You seem different tonight. Is that so?" I ask, keeping my tone light. He nods, considering. "More sure of yourself." I shrug, smiling. "Maybe I'm just tired of apologizing for existing." David grins, tapping his glass against mine. "About time." As the evening deepens, the crowd subtly begins to shift. Ava notices her eyes flicker, smile tightening as she sees a few guests laughing with Natalie and me, people who once sought only her attention. She increases her charm, her laughter a touch too sharp, her stories more elaborate. Eventually, Ava claims the center of the room for her official welcome. "Thank you all for coming," she beams, raising her glass. "It means everything to share this night with such inspiring friends." Her eyes find me for a brief, pointed moment. Community is built on trust. We should never forget that. I let the silence hang a beat, then smile and lift my glass. To trust, then, and to those who earn it. A murmur ripples through the crowd, light but unmistakable. Natalie squeezes my arm, approval in her eyes. Even Marcus nods, subtle pride in his expression. Later, as guests scatter through the gallery, Elena finds me near a painting I once wrote about in an old journal entry. She hesitates, then says, "I think Ava's feeling threatened. She's been asking people what you've been up to." I keep my reply simple. "I've been honest." Elena's eyes search mine. "That's why people are listening to you now. It's different." A moment passes. "I want you to know," she says, voice low. I was slow to see what was happening. "I'm sorry for that." I squeeze her hand. "You see it now. That's enough." Across the room, Ava's mask cracks for just a second, her gaze darting toward us. uncertainty flashing. She quickly pulls David into conversation, too animated. Her voice carrying a little too far. Natalie sidles up beside me, her tone a murmur. She's rattled. I nod. This is just the beginning. We drift toward the terrace, where cool air and city lights blur the tension. Marcus joins us, glass of water in hand. You made an impression tonight. Natalie smiles. It was Emma's clarity that did it. Marcus glances at me. You sure you're ready for what comes next? I meet his eyes, certain now. I am. Ava's already lost control. She just hasn't realized it. He grins. Couldn't have said it better. For the rest of the night, the balance shifts subtly. People return to me with questions, share genuine laughter, seek my advice. Ava's influence is still strong, but it's no longer absolute. Before I leave, Ava approaches once more. You made quite a splash, she murmurs, her voice carefully neutral. I hold her gaze, unafraid. So did you? Everyone saw it. For a moment, we regard each other equals, but not allies. There's no victory in her eyes tonight, just calculation. When I step out into the cool night air, Natalie hugs me tightly. You did it. I return her embrace, relief and resolve mingling. We did. The city hums around me, brighter and freer. The test is over. The real work begins now. Ava has seen the first cracks in her empire, and I am the one who put them there. Ava's desperation becomes more apparent by the day. She clings to her routine's morning workouts posted to her story, inspirational quotes, selfies with mutual friends, but her eyes look a little wild now, her words just slightly too sharp. Where she used to glide through every conversation, she now double-checks every glance, as if searching for what's missing. By Wednesday, I'm sitting at a downtown coffee shop with Aaron Mitchell, a journalist I met years ago at a writing conference. We aren't close, but Aaron's reputation for honesty precedes him. I need clarity from someone outside the circle, someone who won't coddle or spin. So, Aaron begins, sliding a notebook across the table. I hear there's been drama in your crew. I almost laugh. Drama's one word for it. Aaron grins. I know Ava by reputation. That kind of person makes their own weather, don't they? I nod, wrapping my hands around a warm cup. She used to be subtle. Now it's like she can't help herself. Aaron leans in. What changed? People started listening to someone else. I let the admission hang in the air, watching Aaron's response. He nods, understanding. Influence isn't about volume. It's about gravity. That's what Ava's missing, I say. She still thinks it's about performance. Aaron taps his pen. And you? I just want honesty. Integrity. Not a contest. He studies me, then writes something in his notebook. What's your play? I consider, then reply honestly, letting people see her for who she is. Quietly. No big expose, just truth. Aaron's smile is small, almost approving. Sometimes the quietest justice is the most lasting. We talk for another hour, trading stories, his from the field, mine from the war zone of friendship. By the end, I feel lighter, reminded that integrity is its own kind of defense. That night, I attend Lauren's birthday party at a rooftop bar. The city glows beneath us, laughter ringing out under strings of soft yellow lights. Ava is late, and her absence is noted. Delana glances at her phone. Marcus raises an eyebrow. Natalie shrugs. The group has already started to relax when Ava finally arrives, apologizing loudly. Her energy brittle, she brings drinks, circles the group. but the easy deference she once commanded is gone. Natalie laughs at a joke Marcus makes without glancing at Ava for approval. David asks for my advice on a work problem, and Elena sits closer to Lauren than to Ava. Eventually, Ava corners me by the bar, her voice low and urgent. "What are you doing, Emma?" I keep my tone neutral. "I'm talking with friends." She leans in. Jaw tight. "You know what I mean. People are doubting me." "That never happened before you started acting like this." "Acting like what?" Ava's eyes blaze. "Like you're the victim. Like you're the only one who's been hurt. You're twisting things." I take a steady breath. "I haven't twisted anything, Ava. I haven't said anything about you that isn't true." "You don't have to," she snaps. "You just sit there, letting them draw their own conclusions." I let the silence stretch. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe people are finally seeing for themselves. She recoils, then recovers, plastering on her smile as a group approaches. "Happy birthday, Lauren," she calls out, all performative warmth. The others accept her presence, but something subtle has shifted. Marcus invites me to join a game of pool. David and Natalie join in. Elena lingers nearby. Ava tries to insert herself, but her jokes fall flat. Her laughter rings a bit too high. Lauren catches my eye, mouthing a silent, "Are you okay?" I nod, and for the first time, I truly am. Later, on the terrace, Aaron arrives, greeting everyone with easy charm. Ava gravitates toward him, perhaps hoping to reclaim some of her old magic with an outsider. "I've heard about your legendary parties," Aaron says smoothly. Ava grins, flashing her teeth. "You should see me at my best." Aaron glances at me, a subtle question in his gaze. I answer simply, "Ava's always been unforgettable." Ava falters, uncertain whether it's a compliment or a warning. Aaron smiles politely, but his interest is clearly elsewhere. As the night wears on, the group's energy orbits away from Ava, her voice receding into the background. I realize she's truly, finally, not the center anymore. Marcus finds me as I gather my coat. She's losing her grip. I nod quietly. She knows it. He smiles, and it terrifies her. I exhale, feeling calm for the first time in weeks. The cracks are showing, and I no longer need to force them open. Justice comes not with a shout, but with a whisper, and Ava can't hear it over the sound of her own unraveling. It comes unexpectedly. Ava's mistake, public and irreversible. The event is a networking brunch for local creatives, held in a sunlit atrium scattered with tulips and art installations. Rachel Adams, the city's most respected community leader, stands at the center of every conversation. I watch from the periphery, comfortable in observation. When I see Ava glide toward Rachel, all confidence and charm, I sense it immediately. Ava is about to overplay her hand. "Rachel," Ava exclaims, voice too bright. "It's so good to see you again. I was just telling Emma last week about our dinner at the Foundation Gala. You have such a gift for bringing people together." Rachel smiles politely. "That must have been quite a dinner, Ava. I don't believe we've ever actually shared a table, though." For a split second, Ava freezes. The surrounding conversation stills. She quickly recovers, letting out a practiced laugh. "Oh, maybe it was a smaller group. So many events blur together, don't they?" I watch, silent and composed, as Rachel holds Ava's gaze, her smile patient but impenetrable. I keep careful records. I don't recall you ever joining my table, but perhaps it slipped my mind. Natalie, nearby, catches my eye a silent nod. This is it. Later, while Ava works the room, I approach Rachel, who welcomes me warmly. Emma, I've enjoyed your essays. They always cut to the truth. Thank you, Rachel. That means a great deal. She lowers her voice. Ava is ambitious. Too ambitious, sometimes. I meet her eyes, offering nothing but a calm smile. Everyone's true colors surface eventually. She nods. Let me know if you ever want a real introduction. I value honesty in my circle. Word spreads quietly after that. I don't say anything, but I know Natalie and Marcus will. By the following afternoon, half our social circle has heard about Ava's supposed connection to Rachel, and Rachel's gentle correction at drinks that evening. Natalie leans in. People are talking. Ava's story unraveled fast. Marcus adds, even David asked me if Ava had ever worked with Rachel. I told him you have. Not Ava. Lauren stirs her coffee, satisfaction in her eyes. I guess influence doesn't survive a direct hit from the truth. Elena is silent for a moment, then speaks softly. She never thought it would catch up with her. She really believed her own story. I nod, feeling a quiet satisfaction settle in my chest. Ava's always counted on people not checking. Natalie's voice is warm, almost protective. You never had to lie, Emma. That's why people trust you now. At the next gallery opening, the shift is unmistakable. Ava stands by the entrance, greeting rivals with her usual verve. But the warmth she receives is forced, the smiles brittle. A few people approach me with questions about writing, about my next project, about my thoughts on recent events. I answer simply, giving away nothing but sincerity. David corners me near a painting. Is it true Ava made up her connection to Rachel? I wasn't at that dinner. I reply quietly, but Rachel's never mentioned her. He exhales. That explains a lot. I never understood why Ava always changed the subject when Rachel came up. Lauren joins us, her voice gentle. People are seeing through it now. It took time, but they're finally questioning. Ava tries to reclaim ground, sidling up to Natalie and dropping names, offering flattery, but it falls flat. Natalie's responses are cool, her loyalty clear. I watch Ava's composure slip, her smile is strained, her story's inconsistent. As the crowd thins, Ava finds me by the exit, her tone brittle. Enjoying yourself? I meet her gaze, unblinking. I am. She searches my face for weakness and finds none. You've turned people against me. No, Ava. They made up their own minds. Her jaw tightens. You think you're better than me now. I don't need to be better. I just needed the truth to come out. She scoffs, angry but powerless. Be careful, Emma. Crowds are fickle. I nod, steady and composed. Maybe, but trust isn't. Ava steps away, melting into the night. I gather my things and leave. The city air cool and bright. For the first time, I feel the satisfaction of quiet victory, not from Ava's embarrassment, but from the restoration of what she tried to take. My dignity, my voice. Later, as I write in my new journal, the words come easily. I realize I no longer need to hide. The truth circulates without my intervention, and Ava's influence dissolves in the face of simple honesty. Marcus texts, checking in. Marcus, word as Ava's story fell apart. You okay? Me? I'm good. It feels right. Marcus, proud of you. I smile, setting my phone aside, savoring the stillness. In the end, there's no need for grand gestures. Quiet revelations shared gently, trusted and verified, do the work Ava never understood. Her influence fades with every conversation, every clear-eyed question, every gentle correction. This is just as subtle, lasting, and complete. Asterisks. A Tuesday morning when Ava finally reaches out, the mask slipping in the privacy of text. The message is long, full of vague apologies and sudden vulnerability, a far cry from her usual bravado. I read it twice before responding, letting each word settle, feeling the undertow of desperation behind her carefully chosen phrases. Ava, I feel like everyone's turning on me. I just want to talk. Can we meet? I wait an hour before I reply me. If you want to talk, I'll listen. Her answer comes quickly, almost frantic. Ava, today, please. Your place. I consider, then agree. There's no tremor in my hands as I set the kettle to boil, no flutter in my heart as I set two mugs on the table. When Ava arrives, she stands uncertain in the doorway, her confidence missing, her eyes searching my face for softness, for invitation. Come in, I say, my voice quiet but unwavering. Ava sits, folding her hands in her lap. I didn't know where else to go. I nod, waiting. She tries a shaky laugh. It's funny, everyone always said I had so many friends. Now it feels like no one's on my side. I pour tea, pass her a cup. People notice more than you think. Ava looks down. I know. I messed up. Her voice breaks on the last word. Genuine for once. I let the silence grow, giving her room to fill it. She looks up, meeting my eyes. I read your journal because I was jealous. You were always so real. I thought if I could understand what made you that way, maybe people would love me as much as they loved you. For a long moment, I say nothing. Ava's admission isn't an absolution, but a confession shaped by loss. You could have just asked, I say softly. She shakes her head. I didn't know how. I thought control would keep me safe. Control doesn't last. Trust does. Ava sips her tea, hands trembling. I know I hurt you. I know I broke things that can't be fixed. I'm sorry, Emma. I really am. I believe she means it in this moment. But meaning it isn't enough. Sorry doesn't erase the damage. I reply, my voice gentle but steady. She nods, tears in her eyes. I see that now. I thought if I made you seem fragile, people would choose me. But they didn't. They chose you. They chose honesty. I correct quietly. She winces, then manages a small, sad smile. It's funny. All that effort, and I'm more alone than I've ever been. I watch her, seeing not the rival, but the brokenness beneath her schemes. Ava, you build your world on influence, but influence fades. What's left is who you are when no one's watching. She wipes her eyes, steadies her voice. And who am I now? That's for you to decide. She stares into her cup, a long silence stretching. Would you ever forgive me? I look at her, the pain and clarity woven together. I already let go of the anger. But trust, that's something you'll have to earn somewhere else. Ava nods, accepting the finality. I guess I deserve that. I stand, guiding her to the door. Take care of yourself, Ava. She hesitates, searching my face for something: mercy, understanding, perhaps the possibility of redemption. Thank you for listening. I hope you find peace. I hope you do too. I answer, and the door closes gently behind her. The apartment is quiet again, the air still and clean. I move through the rooms, collecting the mugs, wiping away the trace of old pain. Ava's influence over my life ends not in confrontation or shouting, but in this quiet, necessary detachment. Later, Lauren calls, her voice soft. She came to see you, didn't she? She did. And she finally understands what she lost. Lauren sighs, relief and sadness mingling. I'm proud of you, Emma. Thank you, I say quietly as I sit by the window, the city humming below. I feel no gloating, no hollow victory, just a calm, almost tender emptiness. I am free of Ava, and she is free to face herself at last. This is the moment I realize. True power is not in the influence we wield over others, but in the boundaries we draw for ourselves. Ava's realization isn't my closure, but it is the start of hers. I close my eyes, breathing in the peace that follows truth. Asterisk. The package arrives on a gray morning, slipped quietly through my mail slot. No note, no signature, only my name in Ava's handwriting on the plain brown paper. For a moment, I stand staring at it, the memory of violation pulsing fresh and electric. My fingers tremble as I lift the package, weighing its smallness against everything it contains. I close the door, press my back to it, and breathe. For a long time, I do not open the parcel. Instead, I let my thumb trace the edge of the tape, memory and dread and curiosity fighting inside me. I carry it to my desk, set it beside a new, untouched journalist symbol of everything that has changed. Eventually, I break the seal, peel back the layers, and there it is, my old journal, battered and worn, the edges curled, the cover bearing the faint imprint of Ava's careless handling. I run my hand over the pages, a strange combination of anger and relief rising up in me. I open the first page and find a single, folded slip of paper tucked inside. I'm sorry. I can't undo what I did. There are tear stains on the note. I let myself feel the ache for a moment, the years of friendship compressed into the width of one apology. I close the journal, not yet ready to read what I once wrote. The words inside are not for anyone else now, not even for me, not today. A knock at my door. I set the journal aside and answer it to find Lauren, hair wind-blown, cheeks flushed. I was out for coffee and thought I'd check on you, she says, then notices the journal on my desk. Is that? I nod. She returned it. Lauren comes in, closes the door behind her, and crosses to the desk. She touches the journal lightly, as if it might burn her. How do you feel? I don't know yet. I smile softly. Strange. Relieved. Maybe. Not angry, just tired. She sits beside me, her presence steady. You don't have to open it. Not if you're not ready. I know. I meet her eyes, honesty and gratitude mixing. She left a note. Lauren sighs, reading the regret in my voice. She should have said it to your face. Some things are easier written, I say, a faint echo of my own past hopes. She hugs me. A quick squeeze. I'm proud of you. You did the hard thing. You never stooped to her level. Sometimes I wanted to, I admit. Lauren laughs, knowing that's what makes you different. We sit for a while in quiet companionship, the journal untouched between us. Outside, the city moves on, indifferent to these small closures. Eventually Lauren stands, her support lingering in the air. Call me if you need anything, or if you decide to read. I will. After she leaves, I turn the journal in my hands, considering. Finally, I settle at my desk, breathing steadily, and begin to flip through the pages. The handwriting is familiar. The ink faded in places by time and now by betrayal. Every entry is a snapshot of the person I was before. Ava's betrayal, before suspicion and defense became habit. Some entries make me laugh hopes and crushes and clumsy ambitions. Others sting, my raw confessions now shaded by everything that followed. I realize I'm not reading for pain or nostalgia, but for a sense of closure, an honoring of what was taken and what was returned. Halfway through, I find a page that Ava has marked with a slip of paper, a passage I wrote about trust, about how friendship is built on 1,000 tiny promises kept and broken. I stare at it, feeling the irony, then close the book. My phone buzzes. It's Marcus. Marcus, you okay? Me. She returned the journal. Marcus, that's big. How do you feel? Me. Like I can finally breathe. Marcus, you want to talk to me? Later. I just need a quiet minute. I stand, stretching, letting the tension flow out of my body. The apartment feels lighter, the weight of secrecy and shame shifting. I set the journal beside its untouched sibling and open a new page in the clean book. Pen poised above the paper. Today Ava gave back what she stole, but the real return was mine, my voice, my boundaries, my self-respect. I am changed, not smaller, not broken, but clearer. I write without fear, my words no longer secret or stolen, but chosen and owned. For the first time, the page feels like a friend again, not a risk. There is no revenge in this moment, only resolution. Ava's silent surrender is not triumphant, but it is complete. She cannot rewrite the damage or erase the history, but she has returned the tangible proof of what she took. I close both journals, stacking the old beneath the new. For a long moment, I just sit, breathing in the stillness. The next day, I meet Marcus for coffee. He greets me with a hug, his support quiet and unwavering. You did it, he says. I survived it. I correct gently. Same thing, sometimes. We walk through the city, the ordinary world suddenly vibrant. I realize I have let the past go, not as an act of grace for Ava, but for myself. The journal is just a book now, its power dissolved. My story belongs to me again. We part ways, sunlight warming my face as I return home. I sit at my desk, open my new journal, and begin to write not about betrayal, but about beginning again. Closure, I realize, is not an ending but a choice, renewed every day, and today, I choose peace. Asterisk asterisk, I choose the cafe near the park neutral ground. Open windows, witnesses. The morning is gray and gentle, the world in no rush. Ava is already there, sitting by the window, tracing the rim of her mug with nervous fingers. Her confidence is gone, replaced by a wary tension, as if she expects attack at any moment. I walk in calmly, purpose in each step, my mind steady as she looks up. Emma, thanks for coming. I sit across from her, setting my bag down, hands folded. You asked to meet. I'm listening. Ava glances around, voice soft. I owe you more than a note. I want to explain. Go ahead. She searches my face for softness, then gives up and drops her eyes. I messed up. I know. I tried to control everything because I was scared of losing my place. Losing people. She laughs once, bitter. And now I have. You hurt me, I say quietly, the words even and clear. You stole my privacy. You twisted my own words and used them against me. Ava's eyes fill with tears. I know. I was jealous. Emma, you have this way of making people care. I thought if I had that kind of power, I could never be abandoned. Instead, I drove everyone away. Jealousy isn't a license to betray. I reply, my tone measured, unyielding. You broke trust, not just with me, but with everyone who believed in you. She nods, wiping her eyes quickly, afraid to make a scene. You're right. There's no excuse. I can't fix what I did. I can't make people see me the same way again. I'm so sorry. I let the words settle between us. The clink of dishes, the soft murmur of other conversations. I don't want an apology, Ava. I want honesty. I want you to own what you did, without trying to shape the story. She looks at me, raw and exposed. I took your journal. I read it. I told people things that were never mine to share. I twisted your words. I did all of it, and it was wrong. My breath leaves me, slow and deliberate. Thank you. That's the truth I needed. She straightens, the last of her defenses crumbling. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't have anger left to give you. Just boundaries. I lean forward, voice steady. You don't get to be close to me now. You don't get to be in my life. But I hope you find a way to be better. For your sake. Ava nods, shoulders sagging. I don't know how to start over. That's your work, not mine. I say gently. You wanted control. Now you have a choice instead. She draws a shaky breath, voice small. Thank you for listening. I stand, gathering my things. I hope you learn from this, Ava. I hope you become someone you can respect. Her eyes glisten. I hope so, too. For a moment, neither of us moves. Then I turn, walking to the door, feeling no weight, no bitterness. The confrontation is done clean, final, honest. Outside, the city feels open, the air sharp and bracing. I text Lauren as I walk. It's finished. She answers a moment later. I'm proud of you. Come by later. I will. I tuck my phone away, breathing in deeply. My heart is calm. I feel no triumph, no need for revenge, just space. And the peace that follows when truth is spoken aloud. Ava's voice will never again drown out my own. The past is settled, not erased but placed firmly behind me at home. I write a single line in my journal. Today, I ended what needed ending. I chose my peace, not her apology. I read it over once, then closed the book. There's no satisfaction in her downfall, only clarity in my own boundaries. And that is enough. Asterisk. The venue hums with quiet anticipation, a luminous hall strung with lanterns. The soft drone of conversation weaving around delicate glassware. And the faint notes of a string quartet. Tonight, I am not a bystander. I stand near the lectern, palms pressed together, heart steady. This event is for local writers, a gathering of friends, colleagues, and distant acquaintances. Lauren, Elena, and Marcus are somewhere in the crowd. I see their faces, their trust, their encouragement. For the first time in months, I do not scan the room for Ava. The host calls me up. Applause rises, polite but genuine. As I approach the microphone, the lights settle on my face. I take a breath and begin, my voice quiet but sure. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I almost didn't come. For a long time, I thought silence was strength, that if I kept my hurt to myself, I could outlast it, or at least hide it. But silence can be a cage as much as a sanctuary. What I've learned painfully, and honestly, is that our stories matter only when we own them. A pause. The room is utterly still. For a while, someone else told my story for me. They twisted my words, shared my secrets, painted me as something I was not. That loss felt unbearable. But when I finally spoke up, when I trusted the people who deserved my trust, I got my story back. I got my voice back. Lauren's eyes glisten across the room, Elena's hand over her heart. Marcus nods, pride in his smile. I press on. I know I'm not the only one here who has felt betrayed, or silenced, or afraid that your truth would turn against you. But tonight, I want to say, with clarity, you can reclaim your story. You can choose what is true, and you can share it, and you can be heard. Your voice, your real, honest voice is your greatest power. Don't let anyone take it from you. Applause breaks out, louder this time, layered with emotion. I step away from the microphone, my chest expanding with relief. Lauren reaches me first, throwing her arms around me in a fierce embrace. That was incredible, she whispers. I'm so proud of you. Elena wipes her eyes. You spoke for all of us. Emma. Marcus grins. You're a force. I laugh, hugging them. All. The crowd shifts, people offering congratulations. Some sharing their own stories in hushed tones, stories of trust broken, strength regained. The private wounds people rarely name aloud. I listen, present and open, no longer protecting my heart behind walls. Later, I slip out to the garden terrace, the city stretching wide and silent beneath the stars. Lauren joins me, her glass in hand. You did what Ava never could, she says softly. I look at her, curious. What's that? You gave people permission to be honest. You led with vulnerability, not with control. I let the words settle, feeling their truth. For a long time, I thought power was influence. Now I know it's authenticity. Lauren smiles, leaning against the railing. I was scared for you, you know. I worried you'd shut down. I almost did, I admit. But I wasn't alone. You, Elena, Marcus, even Natalie, even David. You all kept me standing. We kept each other standing. She corrects gently. I nod, smiling. Yes, we did. Elena steps onto the terrace, her face lit by lantern light. They want you. Inside. Someone's asking about your next piece. Let them wait, Lauren teases. Emma's earned a break. Elena grins, looping her arm through mine. Seriously, though your speech changed the mood tonight. I think you helped more people than you realize. I hope so. I say, I want people to know it's possible to come back from anything. Lauren squeezes my hand. You just showed them. We stand there, the three of us, quiet for a while, watching the city. When we return inside, the atmosphere is different, lighter, more honest. A place where stories can be shared without fear. Ava is not here tonight, but the shadow she left is gone too. In her absence, my voice fills the space she once claimed. People gather round me for advice, for laughter, for friendship, not because I fought for attention, but because I stopped fighting for approval. Near the end of the evening, Marcus finds me again. You looked comfortable up there, he says. I was. I finally meant every word. He smiles. You gave a lot of people hope. I think I gave myself hope, too. He slips his arm around my shoulders, his support steady. You should write about this. I will. Not just for me, but for anyone who's ever been silenced. As the evening ends, I walk home with Lauren and Elena. Our laughter rings through the quiet streets. Not triumphant, but free. I realize, as we part ways beneath the streetlights, that I am not returning to the person I was before all of this. I am stepping forward, voice reclaimed, story intact, and surrounded by those who value the truth above all else. I am done hiding. I am done letting anyone else define me tonight. My voice is my own, and I am finally beautifully, heard. Asterisk Ava's exit is nothing like her entrance. There's no spectacle, no flurry of tears or shattering confrontation. Instead, it comes on a quiet Saturday at Elena's loft. The invitation goes out to everyone. As usual, one last gathering before summer, a tradition we've kept for years. The space is bright, the windows thrown open to a soft breeze, laughter echoing against exposed brick. I arrive early, helping Elena set out plates, pouring sparkling water into tall glasses. Lauren slips in a few minutes later, arms full of pastries, and Marcus appears soon after with a bouquet for our host. By the time Ava arrives, the mood is easy and expectant, but the air shifts as she steps inside, the group instinctively rearranging, leaving her orbit smaller than ever. She moves through the room, greeting each person by name, but her usual shine is gone. Conversations pause as she passes, resuming with a new ease once she's gone. For the first hour, she hovers on the edges, inserting herself with practiced grace, but never quite fitting. Elena asks about her latest project, but Ava answers in generalities, her voice flat. David nods politely, but the connection is brittle, as if everyone is maintaining a boundary now instinctively. At lunch, the group settles around the table, sunlight catching on glass and silverware. Lauren leads the conversation, Elena follows, and I find myself simply listening. Ava tries to join in, but her comments land awkwardly, humor never quite landing, nostalgia not quite shared. Finally, after dessert, she rises. I should get going, she announces, the words hanging strangely in the air. Thank you, Elena. This was wonderful. Elena gives her a small, genuine smile. Glad you could make it. Ava looks around, eyes searching faces, maybe for forgiveness, maybe just for belonging. For a moment, I think she might say more, but she simply nods, gathering her things. No one protests. No one asks her to stay. As the door closes softly behind her, the group exhales. The tension dissolves. For a few moments, we are silent, the absence ringing louder than her presence ever did. Lauren is the first to speak, her voice soft. That was final. Elena nods, gaze lingering on the closed door. She knew it too. Marcus looks at me. Are you okay? I nod, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. I am. David pours more coffee. It was time. We drift into easy conversation, laughter returning authentic, unforced. I look around and see trust in the room, the kind that isn't spoken but built, moment by moment, over shared struggle. Ava's departure wasn't dramatic, but it was definitive. No bitterness lingers, only a collective understanding of what we've survived, and how much we value the new honesty between us. As the afternoon slips toward evening, I step out onto the balcony. The city below glows gold in the soft light. Lauren joins me, leaning on the railing beside me. Do you feel different? She asks. Yes, I reply. Lighter. She smiles, gentle. She'll find her own way. I hope so, I say, and I mean it. Back inside, Marcus is sharing a story, everyone listening, the moonlight. I stand in the doorway for a moment, grateful for the quiet transformation. Ava once commanded this group with her presence, but now authenticity guides us. I am not the same woman I was at the start. I have learned that quiet strength does not mean silence, and that boundaries protect more than just secrets. As I leave, Elena hugs me tightly. Thank you, she says, and there is meaning in the simplicity of it. I walk home in the gentle dusk, feeling peaceful. Ava's departure did not break the group, it mended it. I no longer fear betrayal. I know now what I will accept and what I will never allow again. When I reach my apartment, I write in my journal, "Today, Ava left." The space she leaves behind is filled by trust, laughter, and genuine friendship. I choose to remember this as the day we all stepped forward together and finally free. And I believe it. Asterisk asterisk. Night settles gently on the city, lights flickering to life one by one outside my window. I sit at my desk, pen poised above an open page, a fresh cup of tea steaming beside me. It has been weeks since Ava's quiet departure. The days since have passed softly, no sudden upheaval, no sharp betrayals, only a sense of steadying, of things returning to their natural shape. For the first time in a long while, I am not waiting for the other shoe to drop. I breathe in the stillness, reflecting on everything that has brought me to this moment. In the beginning, all I felt was shock, and ache so bright and immediate that it threatened to swallow me. Ava's betrayal cut deep, not just because she stole my words, but because she twisted my trust, something I had given freely. In the aftermath, pain became routine, a dull ache, a low hum beneath the surface of every interaction. I built walls, retreated into myself, let silence be my armor. But now, with distance, I see the arc more clearly. The shock faded to reflection, then to resolve. Planning replaced paralysis. I stopped reacting and started choosing. Each careful step, each conversation, each boundary set became an act of reclamation. My patience was not passive. It was active, strategic. And when the time came for confrontation, I met it not with anger, but with clarity. I refused to perform rage or seek vengeance. I chose honesty instead, even when it meant standing alone. The quiet after Ava's departure is filled with possibility. My friendships have transformed deeper, truer. Lauren, ever loyal, has become not just a friend but a mirror, reflecting back the best parts of me even when I can't see them. Elena's trust, once shaken, has settled into something solid and mutual. Marcus's gentle counsel has been my ballast. And even Natalie and David, brought closer by shared challenge, have become constants in my life. Tonight, Lauren texts, "Movie night at mine? I'll order Thai." I smile. The simple offer, a small miracle after months of tension. "I'll bring dessert." I think about Ava not with malice, but with an odd tenderness. I hope she finds what she's searching for. I hope she learns that real power isn't about who listens to you, but about what you listen to within yourself. Her absence no longer feels like a loss, but like space, a clean, necessary emptiness where something new can grow. I open my journal and write. Closure isn't about forgetting. It's about seeing the whole picture and choosing where to focus your gaze. Betrayal shaped me, but it did not define me. I am softer for the hurt, sharper for the lesson, and clearer for the journey. I am not angry. I am awake at movie night. Lauren hands me a mug of tea and Elena plops down beside me on the sofa. The conversation is light, laughter real. No one mentions the past. I feel it, though, in the easy way we talk. The care in small gestures, a touch on the shoulder, a shared look of understanding. There's freedom here. I can speak and be heard. I can be quiet and still belong. Later, as I walk home through quiet streets, I let my mind wander. I think about the power of narrative, not just the stories we tell others, but the ones we tell ourselves. For so long, I let Ava's version become the truth. Let her dictate how others saw me and how I saw myself. But narrative is a living thing, always subject to revision. Tonight, mine feels honest and whole. I pause under a street lamp, breathing in the cool air, feeling the pulse of my own life, strong and quiet. I survived the loss of trust. I survived the unmasking of a friend. And I did it not by closing off, but by opening carefully, thoughtfully, but always forward. Home again. I tidy the apartment, light a candle, let the scent of vanilla and sage settle me further. I look around at the small signs of my own life, a stack of books, a vase of wildflowers, a half-finished story on my laptop, and feel content. Before bed, I send a final message to Marcus. Thank you for standing with me. I couldn't have done this alone, he responds. We all walk each other home. Proud of you, Emma. I smile, letting the words linger, letting gratitude replace all the old bitterness. As I settle under the covers, I realize I no longer count the things I lost. I count what I have built, a quiet strength, an honest voice, and the certainty that I am enough no matter who stays or goes. I close my eyes, knowing that tomorrow will come quietly, bringing with it the soft light of new beginnings. And as sleep claims me, I am at peace, strong, clear, awake. Morning sun slants through my window, painting the walls gold. The city below hums with energy, but I move slowly, deliberately, savoring the quiet. My world feels newly uncluttered. I brew coffee, scribble a few thoughts into my journal, no longer afraid, no longer writing for secrecy or self-defense, but for the simple joy of hearing my own voice ring true on the page. Today, I meet Marcus at the art museum. He's waiting in the atrium, hands in his pockets, grinning when he sees me. You look lighter, he says as we join the flow of visitors. I reply, smiling back. I feel like I finally put something heavy down. We wander the galleries, pausing in front of bold, abstract canvases and quiet portraits. He listens as I talk about new story ideas, not about pain or betrayal, but about hope, characters starting over, women discovering their own worth. I realize, with a kind of wonder, that I am describing myself. Do you ever wish you could rewrite your story? Marcus asks, studying a painting of a river winding through light and shadow. I consider, then shake my head. Not rewrite, just keep writing. Move forward, not erase. He nods, approval clear. You're doing it. Natalie joins us halfway through the morning, her laughter bright. She links arms with me, and together we drift from one gallery to another. She tells me about her latest project, a campaign for mental health advocacy. You'd be a perfect speaker, she says. People listen to you. I'd like that, I admit. Not because I want the spotlight, but because I know what it's like to need a little light in the dark. Natalie squeezes my arm. You'll change more than a few lives, Emma. We settle in the cafe for lunch. Lauren arrives, breathless and apologetic, followed by Elena, who slides into the booth with a shy grin. There's laughter, the comfort of old jokes, and the promise of new plans, weekend hikes, writing workshops, maybe even a trip together this autumn. Conversation drifts to Ava only briefly. Elena asks, have you heard from her? I shake my head, gentle but firm. No. I hope she finds her way. No one lingers on her absence. Instead, the conversation circles back to us, the living, the present. There's a generosity in the way we speak, a willingness to make room for each other's dreams and worries. I see how we have grown, not just through pain, but through the ways we chose to show up, to listen, to forgive. After lunch, I step out with Lauren, the city bright around us. She nudges me. You really are different, you know. I feel different, I answer. More myself. She links her arm with mine, easy and natural. What will you write next? I smile. Something true. Something that isn't afraid to hope. That evening, I meet Elena at the riverfront. The city lights shimmer on the water, and we sit on a bench, watching boats drift past. I was afraid I'd never trust anyone again, Elena admits quietly. But you helped me see that it's possible. Even after everything, it is possible, I tell her. But it's a choice. Every day, I wake up and decide to trust myself first. She nods. Understanding. Thank you, Emma. We sit in companionable silence, and I realize that closure is not about doors slamming shut, but about opening windows, letting new air and light into places that felt closed forever. Back at home, I open my journal again. The words come easily now. I write about the friends who stayed, the ones who became family. I write about Ava, not with bitterness, but with compassionate character in my story. No longer the author of it. I write about quiet mornings, about laughter returning, about how it feels to be whole. The phone buzzes. It's Marcus, sending a picture of a painting we loved to forward. Always. That's you, I reply. And all of us. We're moving forward together. Night falls, gentle and undemanding. I light a candle, set my journal aside, and pour a glass of wine. My home feels like my own again, safe, warm, inviting. Before sleep, I look around at the artifacts of my new life. A calendar filled with future plans. A group chat full of messages. Tickets to next week's play. A shelf of journals, old ones closed. New ones waiting. I do not know what will come next. But for the first time, I am not afraid of the blank page. I welcome it. Tomorrow, I will wake and write again, not out of fear, but out of hope. Out of love for the woman I am and the people who walk beside me. This is my new chapter. And it is mine to tell. Asterisk asterisk. Months have slipped by, the sharpness of Ava's betrayal softened by time and distance. Our circle has changed shape, smaller, perhaps, but truer. Trust, once splintered, is stronger now, woven from the honesty of shared wounds and the quiet resilience that comes after pain. I meet Lauren, Marcus, Natalie, and Elena for brunch on a bright Saturday. The restaurant windows thrown open to let in the breeze and laughter. We talk about everything and nothing: work frustrations, weekend plans, favorite new books. There is ease between us, a warmth that comes from having survived something together. Marcus raises his coffee in a toast to moving on, he says. Lauren grins, eyes twinkling. To second chances. Natalie nods. To knowing who your real friends are. Elena, more thoughtful, glances at me. To Emma, for showing us how to handle betrayal without becoming bitter. I laugh, shaking my head. I didn't handle it alone. None of us did. Lauren smiles softly. Maybe not. But you set the tone. You never let hate take root. I look around the table, at faces that have become my family. I was angry for a while, but anger can only carry you so far. What you do with it, that's what matters. Natalie leans in. What did you do with it? I wrote. I reached out. I listened when I wanted to hide. I chose to trust the people who earned it. And I learned that what was broken can be made stronger if we're willing to be honest. Elena rests her chin on her hands. Do you think you'll ever write about it? The whole story? I consider the question, tracing the rim of my mug. Maybe. But if I do, it'll be a story about recovery, not revenge. about what comes after. Marcus offers a quiet smile. That's the real legacy, isn't it? I nod. Yes. Not that Ava fell, but that we grew. That we learned how to repair trust, how to build something better. There is a silence comfortable, complete. After brunch, we wander through a local market, stopping for flowers and coffee beans, letting the city bustle around us. Lauren and Elena peel off for an art show. Marcus and Natalie walk me to the park. We settle on a bench beneath a blooming tree, sunlight dappling the grass. Natalie sighs contentedly. It's good, isn't it? Being on the other side. It is, I agree. And I wouldn't have made it without you. Marcus nudges me. You would have, but we're glad you didn't have to. We sit in easy silence, the kind that needs no words. At home, I reflect on all that has passed the journal, the whispers, the shifting allegiances, and the long, slow return to trust. I see now that the true victory was not in outmaneuvering Ava, but in refusing to become her. I kept my heart open. I allowed myself to heal. I chose compassion, even when it was difficult. I write a final note in my journal. Legacy is not what we take from others, but what we give to those who stay. My story is one of survival, not in spite of betrayal, but because of what I learned from it. I am stronger, softer, and more myself than ever before. This is the real revenge, to live fully, love honestly, and leave bitterness behind. I close the journal, stack it neatly with the others, and look round my quiet apartment. The past is part of me, but it does not define me. My friends, my voice, my peace, these are the legacies I claim. And as the day slips into evening, I step into the future with gratitude, knowing I have earned every bit of it.